Hi everyone, Daljeet Peterson, astrolab21.com. I just want to do a quick video here, sort of a channel update. Figured last day of 2020, New Year's Eve, be a good time to just talk about, so where I'm at with the channel and some of the things that my New Year's resolutions and my intentions for the channel for 2021 and beyond. It's a rather new channel. I really just started it just a few months ago, but already starting to get some momentum with it and really excited about some new video content that I'm going to be releasing over the course of the coming year. I'll continue to do the monthly forecasts and do special videos when we have certain configurations that are worth taking a look at. But I also want to do more in-depth series of videos, really get into some of the more interesting aspects of astrology and just share with you, this amazing tool. My goal with Astrolab 21 and with this channel is really to share the insights, to help you learn to use astrology for yourselves so that you can apply it in your own lives and help sort of navigate and negotiate these, rather challenging times we're all living through together. So, one of the things you may have noticed, I've actually reconfigured my home studio a little bit, and now it's allowing me to actually sit right here at my desk while I do these videos. And one of the things it's going to give me the ability to do is share my screens with you. And one of the things I want to do by virtue of that is to create some graphics and some illustrations and some animations that will help to illustrate some of these astrological concepts that I talk about in some of these videos. So rather than just sort of talking directly to you, we'll be able to do something a little more interactive, and hopefully it will help to illustrate and visualize some of the concepts that we talk about. Because, astrology is it's a visual language. It's a symbolic language. So I think if you guys can see and hear some of this stuff and we can kind of put it all together in new ways, I think it'll make these videos a lot more effective. So I'm really excited about that. So for example, here's a graphic that I'm working on for one of these new series that I want to release in 2021. It's called Collective Souls, and it's about the astrology of generations. And this is going to be based on a series of articles I wrote recently for Medium on the astrology of generations. And I'm going to make videos on each of the generations in turn. So, you can see this is a graphic I'm working on for that piece. And, this is a subject that's really near and dear to my heart. Something I have a lot of passion about is, taking the astrological lens on the conventional notion of generations. Because while we've all been raised to think that we're either baby boomers or Gen X or millennials, what astrology tells us is there's a deeper pattern, there's a deeper cycle unfolding here generationally. And by tracking mostly the Pluto transits through the signs, that's really how we can mark and delineate where one generation starts and a new generation begins, right? So for instance, when we look at the baby boomers, traditionally they're 1946 to 64. But what astrology is showing us is that really they're mostly Pluto and Leo generation. And what is late baby boomers is really a new generation, which is Pluto and Virgo, which mostly gets associated with Generation X and so on. So you can see how we can start to see something different unfolding here. And rather than just use a sort of somewhat arbitrary demarcation of where one generation begins and another one ends, we're actually going to use the motion of the planets, something that's very consistent, something that has a deeper meaning. And it's important because each generation, just like we all have a soul purpose as individuals, every generation has its own soul purpose. We come in as a collective of souls to work on that soul purpose together as a generation. That's what binds us together generationally. It's why we identify with those who were born at the same time. So this series is going to be really insightful about breaking down and really looking at, what we all came here to do as a generation and how we're all part of an unfolding cycle, right? Because everything in astrology is cyclical and connected. So the Pluto and Leo has a gift to offer that's different from Virgo, but connected, and Libra and Scorpio and so on. So really excited about that as a new series that I'm going to introduce in 2021. One of the other things I'll be able to do with this setup is we can look at some chart examples together. I intend to do some videos in 2021 where we'll either look at biographies of some famous people and some celebrities, maybe do charts of certain events that are unfolding, and show you guys the sort of nuts and bolts of my process, how I like to use astrology to interpret what's going on. So, for example, I can bring up the charts. Right now, I'm looking at, this is the sky right now, but as I talked about in the recent video for the 2021 preview, one of the big themes this year is going to be Saturn squaring Uranus. So I can look at that and show you how we can chart those things. We can also take a look at the sky. This is how it looks looking out from LA right now, with the sun rising, or sun well in the sky at this point. But I can pull back the graphics and we can see where the stars, where the planets are in the sky right now. So for instance, we can see the sun here in Capricorn and Mercury, Venus back here in Sagittarius. There's Jupiter and Saturn hanging out in Aquarius where the great conjunction just occurred. And we can already see that Jupiter is starting to separate from Saturn as it moves faster through the sign, and Saturn will move behind it. Then we also can get a perspective as we move off the planet Earth and jump out into the solar system. And this is something I love to do. I'm fascinated with the astrological and astronomical features because it's all the same thing, right? And when we can get this perspective, modern technology allows us to see, the solar system as it's unfolding, right? So here we are from Earth, just as we just looked at. There's the sun. This is the part of the sky that's Capricorn. We know that Venus is back here in Sagittarius. Mercury's hiding behind there, but it's also in Capricorn from where we stand on Earth. Remembering that everything in astrology is geocentric, it's Earth-centered. It's all about how does it feel and look, and what's the experience of the solar system from Earth. That's what astrology is all about, really. So, we can look out here. There's Pluto still out in Capricorn. We see Jupiter and Saturn here in these early parts of what is Aquarius in the sky. And, over the next year, we're going to see Jupiter move through the sign of Aquarius, and Saturn will move behind it a little slower, right? Keeping going around, there's Neptune, which is out in Pisces, where it's been since, 2012 or so. And then if we go around still, well, there's Uranus out here in Taurus. And here we can see something, again, we just talked about in this video. The big theme for 2021 is going to be Saturn square Uranus, right? So that's what we talk about when we talk about a square. They're at a 90-degree angle from the Earth. If we look out where Saturn is over here in the early degrees of Aquarius, well, that's 90 degrees from where Uranus is, from our perspective, over in the early degrees of Taurus. So this is really the configuration that's going to really set the tone for what 2021 will be all about, is this energy that we're receiving from these two planets. And that square creates a certain energy pattern. It's a tension. It's a dynamic pattern that wants to be resolved. And because of where they are in the sky, right? Taurus, Aquarius, fixed signs. So this is the kind of stuff that gets me really excited about astrology, and it's the kind of stuff that I want to be able to share with you guys. I think it's going to help you understand some of the concepts I'm talking about. It's going to help me explain and share my insights a little more thoroughly with you guys. So one of the things I'm really excited about and looking forward to in 2021. So like I said, I'm going to be doing some new series. That Collective Souls will be one of them. I'm also going to start a new series this year called Blueprint of the Soul. And I'm really excited about this one. You know, that's sort of my signature, it's like my catchphrase, if you will, right? Blueprint of the Soul. And I tell all of my clients that, and you'll hear me say it in my videos, that the birth chart is the blueprint of your soul. And if you can learn to read that chart, if you can learn to read your blueprint, you have the opportunity to become the architect of your own destiny. And that's kind of my pitch on astrology. And that's what I've learned to do in my personal life. I use that, that's my blueprint. And that's how I become the architect of my destiny. And I want to share that with you. So that's going to be a series that I'm going to start putting out sometime in early January. Hopefully I'll have some of the first episodes rolling out. And it's essentially going to be kind of an astrology 101. I'm going to start with the basics and work and build on that foundation, literally the elemental foundation. I'm going to start with the elements. And then we'll talk about the signs and the houses and the planets and the aspects. And by the end of the multi-part series, you'll really have a much better understanding of the fundamental principles of astrology, this language, this rich, symbolic, metaphorical, archetypal language that is astrology. And so that's really my commitment. That's what I want this channel to be. That's what I want my website to be. And so I'm committed to producing and providing you with that information throughout the year 2021. So just a quick check-in, that's where it's at. This is a new endeavor for me. I just started the channel in the middle of 2020, and just to give you a little insight about where I'm coming from, I think like everyone out there, when the pandemic hit and our lives were sort of thrown into a different gear, we were given an opportunity to look a little deeper at where we're at in our lives and make some major changes. I've been talking about how the time is ripe for it to make major changes, what the astrological configurations are supporting for us at this time. And that applies to me as well, right? So I'm practicing what I'm preaching, if you will. So when the pandemic hit, I've been working here in Los Angeles. I've been working in the entertainment business for better part of 25 years. I work as a freelance writer and producer and editor of television shows, and I enjoy it. It's a great vocation, great trade, and it's afforded me a great lifestyle here in LA. But when the pandemic hit and we started working from home, I suddenly had a little more time in my day. It was 45 minutes to and from studios that I did not have to spend in LA traffic, which I was grateful for, and 20 minutes back and forth to lunch every day. So it was a good 2 hours of my day that I got back. And I started using that 2 hours to restart my Kundalini yoga practice, and was doing 2 hours of yoga every morning before coming into the office here and starting my work day. And God, that was so beneficial. I felt so blessed. And, within a few weeks of doing that, it was, and sometime in mid-April, I think, I had just finished one of my yoga sets, and I was meditating after my set, and I had this epiphany. And I knew in that moment it was time. It was time for me to start to claim my role as an astrologer and to live into my role as Daljeet. And Daljeet is my spiritual name. It was given to me back in 2007. At the time, I was going through a intensive Kundalini yoga teacher training. And during the process, you're encouraged to get your spiritual name that you will use to practice as a Kundalini yoga teacher. And I was given the name Daljeet. And the name Daljeet means a spiritual warrior who is blessed with the gift of group consciousness and leads the team to victory. And at the time, I don't think I was quite ready to take on that name and to take on the responsibility that came with such a name and such a calling. And so it sort of lied dormant for a while. And it wasn't until this year, in 2020, when I sort of had the awakening and the courage, really, to embrace this role and embrace this passion of mine, which is astrology. It's the most important thing in my life. If you were to look around my house and look at my bookshelves, you'd see that at least 80% of those books are about the subject of astrology. So it's really my life's passion, and it's the one thing that has never really let me down. The deeper I've gone into astrology, the more it's given me back, which is always a sign you're onto something good. So that's where I'm at. I'm about to endeavor to make this transition from a full-time entertainment professional to becoming a full-time astrologer. So I started the website. I launched this YouTube channel. I've started taking on clients for consultations and chart readings. It's something I've done as a side hustle and more of a bona fide hobby for the last better part of 10 years, but mostly for friends and family and close colleagues. But now I'm starting to open it up and take appointments with the general public. And even some of you out there have already started booking appointments with me. I've done a handful already. It's been great getting to know you guys and to help you learn to read your blueprint, learn your blueprint of the soul, and become architects of your own destiny. So I just wanted to let you guys know that's where I'm at. That's what I'm doing. I hope you're liking the content. If there's stuff that you want to hear more of, leave me a note in the comments below. Let me know what you're liking about the content that I'm doing, what you want more of, what you'd like to see in 2021. I want this to be collaborative. It's a collaboration, an astro collaboration, if you will. I hope to collaborate with other astrologers out there. It's one of my other intentions for the new year. Again, just following my own advice, as I said in the video on the Great Conjunction. One of the great messages and mandates of 2021 is find the others, right? Go out there and connect with those like-minded individuals and form community bonds in a very Aquarian-like way to make the changes in your life that you're trying to make. And so for me, that's connecting with other like-minded astrologers. And I hope to be able to, I have a plan to do a podcast in 2021 where I want to interview other astrologers about their process and how they came to astrology and their own blueprint. I think that would be super insightful way of us all learning about this ancient practice together. So a lot coming down the pipe in 2021. I'm incredibly excited and I'm incredibly honored to be able to have this format and to share this information with you and to really see where this is going to go. I'm excited. I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful about what we're all going to do as a collective, as society, as individuals. I think there's a lot of opportunity for growth and expansion and really elevated consciousness on this planet. I think we were all born at the right time. We were all born for this moment, and it's opening up for us. So let's be those change agents. Let's get out in the world and let's do good things together. All right. Well, Happy New Year, everyone. I'm looking forward to 2021, as I'm sure all of you are. So have a safe and happy New Year, and we'll see you on the other side. All right. Sat Nam.